Alright guys, Hayzink here, welcome back to the channel for another Street Fighter Duel video. So today we have had an update. Now I did expect this to come, I just didn't know it was going to be this unit, and yeah, we've got a new event warm up and it's going to be for Trendy Akuma. That's right, Trendy Akuma is coming to Street Fighter Duel and he is going to be a special summon unit. Now some people might say, oh god, where's the turtles? We've still got another event to come before the anniversary, and then who knows, they might actually just theme the anniversary after the turtles. I don't know. All I know is you guys saw the video that was in the files, so they should still be coming. It's just a case of when, who knows. But for most Street Fighter fans, for most actual fans of the franchise and not just generalised gacha players, I think most people would actually rather have this guy than characters from a property that's got nothing to do with Street Fighter. So I do actually think this guy is going to be very desirable for a lot of people. However, there's going to be another subset of people who are like, Hayzink, I only just finished summoning basic Akuma and now we've got this new Akuma, what the hell? So for those people, I think it's possibly a good idea if we take a sneaky peek at what he looks like in the other version of the game. Now again, as always, this doesn't necessarily translate to what he will be like in the global version, but it does give us an indication of what he will be like, because it's very rare that they wholesale change a unit. They usually buff them, make them stronger, sometimes they make them a trigger unit, that type of thing, but in general they tend to function the same way as they do in other versions. Let's just ignore Vega and Kami. But they do. So let's take a look at what he does in the other version, what type of fighter he is, his animations, and you can see if he is a unit worth getting excited over. So let's take a look at that now, shall we? Right guys, so actually, rather than kind of putting on his translated skills and stuff like that, which you can see I've got, they're in the background, right? I'm just going to kind of go over what he does in more layman terms, because I don't really think there's too much point in focusing on things like numbers, percentages and stuff like that, because ultimately they can change when it comes to global players getting this character, okay? So how he functions is, you can see these beads that are spinning around him right now, okay? Now when he's done that first skill there, you might not be able to see it because the image is moving so fast, but you'll notice that some of them have gone from purple to a white colour, right? That's his passive. His passive functions in a way that for every one of those beads that are converted, he gains crit, okay? And it's crit rate he gains, okay? He gains 3%, when it's maxed, he gains 3% up to a threshold of 12 times, okay? Now, again, on global, that could change. He also has a trigger skill that is attached to him converting all of his beads. So once all 12 beads are converted, he will unleash this trigger skill. Now, what's important to note there is on TW, we don't get the same kind of car functions as he gets on global. So with global, I would actually expect him to potentially get things like consume less beads to unlock this skill, possibly do things like, you know, unlock one extra for each skill. You know what I mean? There's things that you can get that can make it happen faster, right? Because when he unlocks all 12 skills, all 12 beads, he's going to be maxed out with his buff. So his buff being crit means when he unleashes that trigger, he's pretty much not guaranteed, but near enough guaranteed to crit, and it's going to cause a lot of damage because it's like on TW anyway, it's like 800 odd %, which for global could change, probably go higher to be honest. The thing that they might do on global, and I wouldn't be surprised about this if they do it, is change it from either the trigger is dependent on getting all these beads, because it's global, they might just give him the trigger. It's the way global does things, right? They might just give him the trigger, but there's a chance, I think, maybe they mix crit damage in. So each time you unlock a bead, maybe you get 3% crit rate and 1% crit rate damage or something like that. It's the type of thing that global like to do. So like if you've got all his cars, you will also get crit damage, not just crit rate. That's the type of thing I expect that we might see from On his super, so on his first attack, right? It's a weird one on TW. On TW, it functions twofold, right? You get a thing called God and Ghost status, right? Basically, when you've got one, it does one attack that will do a set amount of damage. It's like 600% or 800% or something like that, right? Then, when you get the other one, it'll do a slightly different attack with a slightly different damage threshold. When you've got both of them, however, you will do an AoE, right? And you can actually see the AoE happening on this stage here. You see that there? It hit both Sagat and it also hit the unit at the back. It hit DJ. So that was like an AoE, right? You can see that that actually happened there within the video. Now what it also does is it gives him one bead converted if you are doing an attack using one status, so God. One if you're using the other status, which is Ghost. Two converted if you do an attack using God Ghost, right? So again, his attacks are going to increase how often he converts these beads, right? Again, Global could change that because Global does things like that. They might make it easier to convert the beads. When you do the attack that's got the double status, so the Ghost and God, it is lost, right? And you need to get it back again. Again, that's the type of thing that potentially could be one of the cards. Don't lose the status when attacking, right? You know yourself, that's how a lot of things function. So he's going to do a lot of damage on his super combo basically. And if you watch that video, this video, you will actually see both types. So he done the normal super attack there and he hit one person. When he does it the second time here, you will see it hits two people, right? That's the big difference. His C2, I feel like his C2 is going to be the one that's used most often. It is this kind of fireball thing. But the reason why I think it's going to be used most often is it consumes or it converts free beads. Okay, when you use it, it converts free beads. That is going to get you into that trigger skill state faster. It's going to get your crit rate boosted faster. So it's the one that I see people using most often, right? Because his final attack doesn't convert any beads. It does good damage, his C3, it does do good damage, it really does, okay? But it doesn't convert any beads. Now the other thing about his C2, I don't know if you guys saw it there, right? If you watch this video, you will see that basically Sagat is in his unkillable state where he will kind of come back with energy. I think they call it the Imperator stage or whatever it's called, right? But Akuma kills him, right? So nothing in his description, if you read his kit, nothing in his description mentions anything about ignoring revives or unkillable statuses. It doesn't say that, but he does it, right? So if you watch here, right, so he is in the status where he shouldn't be able to die, and Akuma kills him. So it looks to me as if Akuma is also going to have the ability to kill the likes of your Bisons and stuff like that, okay, with his, maybe just overall with his kit, but at least definitely with his C2 skill, because you've seen it there, it did actually happen. Or was that his C3? Let's just watch that again actually. So popping up here, no, his fireball's his C2, so it was with his C2, right? Now his passive, he has got this thing called Killing Spirit, I think it's called. It's like a status that he gains. If he's on the support slot, he will give people this Killing Spirit. In fact, you know what? The whatchamacallit, the passive's the one I remember the least, so let me just move this over and we can have a look at how the passive is currently. See there, right? It's got Killing Energy, that's what it's called. He'll give the person he's supporting 60 killer energy every time they do combo 2. Nothing in his description actually explains what Killing Energy is, so we're going to need to wait for Global to see either what they convert that to, or if they just give him that, what it actually is, right? But they get some kind of status, right? After reaching, it's plus 10. After reaching the annihilation, after releasing the annihilation of all life, the critical damage of Ghostwave Fist is increased by 40%. Very reminiscent of Oni, right? Oni has got in his kit, after doing his C3, the next time you do his super, it will be more damaging. It's either that or the other way about. It's one of the two of them, but one feeds into the other, making it do more, right? At 20, the damage of Ghost Strike, God Strike, and Ghost Strike, Ghost God Strike it'll be, is increased by 25%. That's his super, it'll do more damage, right? At 30, after releasing Annihilation of All Life, the Ghost Wave Fist can penetrate all enemies. So when you've got him at plus 30 Fighting Spirit, Annihilation of Life, which I think is his Fireball, to be honest. I think, let me just double check that just now. I think it's his Fireball. That's his, nope. 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 What one is his Fireball? Let me just double check this here. It's C3. Ghost Wave Fist Singles. It's not that one. I can't even read what that says, but it's not that either. So is it actually just his passive? Is that what his trigger skill is called on his passive? So go back to look at his passive. Eternal Destruction. No. So must be his Fighting Spirit. Let's find his Fighting Spirit again. Back to Fighting Spirit. The damage of Ultimate Disruption is increased by... After releasing the Annihilation of All Life, the Ghost Wave Fist can penetrate all enemies. Oh. Ghost Wave Fist is what we're trying to see the name of. Right. My fault for being dumb. And I am often dumb, so don't worry about it. Ghost Wave Fist, that's not Ghost Wave Fist. So was it a C3 that was called Ghost Wave Fist? Ghost Wave Fist, right. So it's a C3 that becomes an AoE, basically, because it goes through everyone. Very much like Oni, actually. But the thing is, again, you can see here now that it's on screen, this one doesn't convert any beads, but it does increase the damage of the skill. For every bead you've got converted, it increases the damage of this skill. So, hear me out here. The strat might actually be with this guy to do the first 2, maybe 3 rotations using his C1, C2, then switch to his C3. Because that way you're going to have unlocked all your beads, which is going to have given you additional boost of 4%. 12 beads. It doesn't say anything about a cap. It could be capped on global. You've got it leveled 6%. So what's that? 6 and 6 is 12. 12 and 12 is 24. 24 and 24 is 48. 50. Like 60 odd percent or something. It's going to be boosted a lot, right? It'll be boosted a lot. So the strat probably with this guy is going to be C1, C2, C1, C2, C1, C2. Oh, sorry. Combo C2, combo C2, combo C2, then C3, C3, C3. Just build it up. So actually, depending on if you can get him to the back or not, so if you can have him in the back slot, this is where Vega and Kami's EX move could come in very handy, because you'll immediately be able to get an extra super attack, meaning that you can get 5 of those beads converted immediately, then another 5 on your actual first real super combo. So first 2, that's you got 10 of those beads down. Then next combo, you start the combo, bang, you're maxed out, you've got your 12 beads, you do your trigger skill, and when it comes to C3, you use this guy, he's going to pop this off with huge damage. So yeah, he's going to do pretty well. I see this unit sitting more as a PvP unit. He will do very well for bosses, but obviously you guys know the meta's gone very RNG. It's gone very, very, very super RNG, right? You are basically getting your best scores off of using units like your Aedons and stuff. They're going to give you the most score. I've done 3.5 billion with Aedon alone, right? No, none of these units are going to touch that. I would see them doing well as your Team 2, Team 3, Team 4 DPS, because the person you're fighting on the leaderboard, who's maybe also got a 3.5 billion score with Aedon, he might not be able to get a good score on his Team 2, 3 and 4, and that's where you would win the leaderboard kind of thing. So I do see this unit doing well on bosses. However, the tag bossing unit has just been changed because of Aedon. It's crazy, right? But I do see him doing very well in PvP. I see him doing very well in PvP in places like Showdown, etc. So expect to see this guy getting wailed out for by some people, and you'll probably see him rocking 5 white stars pretty quickly. We're going to need to wait to see what his cars do, because that's ultimately going to dictate a lot about this unit. But he does look solid. He looks better than the base unit, base Akuma. If you're a fan of Akuma, you're dining out, because base Akuma is a good unit. I don't care what people say. Pika ranks him really poorly, yet he celebrated getting him to SSS the other day. Just saying, Pika. I don't think base Akuma is a bad unit at all, right? But this unit is definitely going to be better. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I've been Hayzink, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.